Pioneer sports, extra tales of great Boswell's never rock and roll. Pioneer sports, extra tales of great Boswellsports never gonna quit. Coach Weaver's roar echoes in our soul, chasing glory, now we're rock and roll. Pioneer sports, extra tales of great Boswellsports never gonna quit. Coach Weaver's roar echoes in our soul, chasing glory, now we're rock and roll.
And welcome to Pioneer Sports Extra. We are here once again at Red's Barbecue at 7335 Boat Club Road. We're going to talk some Pioneer football. Always nice after a win, especially the kind of win that the Boswell Pioneers got on Friday night against the Haltom Buffaloes. And with me, of course, is the head coach of the Boswell Pioneers, Coach Wes Weaver. Hello, Coach.
Hello.
And then to my right is our producer, Keith Diamond. Hello, Keith.
Hello.
And then our special guest tonight is a running back who's made his way on the scene, had over 200 yards rushing against the Haltom Buffaloes. Jace Richardson is with us. Hello, Jace.
Hello.
So we're going to talk about the Haltom game. Then we will follow that up with this Friday night's game against the Forney Jackrabbits. Thank goodness they come to town. And
No, you're good.
and then after that, we will go one-on-one with Jace. We're going to take a quick break as, again, we are here at Red's Barbecue, some of the best barbecue in town. Come see Amy and Justin and tell them that Boswellsports sent you. But we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Off of 73335 down on Boat Club Road, there's a place folks gather and let their troubles unload. Red's Barbecue delights under a Texas sky, with brisket, sausage ribs, and chicken fry. Juicy burger stacking high, Red's fries on my plate. Flavor so rich my mouth can't wait. Hey, the man, he's got the magic touch. A bite of heaven, it's never too much. Oh, Red's Barbecue, make you move like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's Barbecue, every single bite. Fried steak, crispy and brown, the tastiest food in our little town. The sauce is poured with love, smoking so fine. Every meal there is a grand old time, with friends and tunes under the barbecue lights, laughing and eating through the warm summer nights. Grill marks are painted, a culinary art. Red's Barbecue knows the way to my heart. Oh, Red's Barbecue, make you move like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's Barbecue, every single bite. Barbecue, make you move like a cow. Tasting Texas pride, no stopping now. From sun up to sundown, this place feels right. Red's Barbecue, every single bite.
All right, welcome back to Pioneer Sports Extra. Coach, let's dive right in. Start with the atmosphere What was the energy like going into kickoff?
Oh, it was awesome. It was the kids were ready to get back out there after the game that spanned 2 days versus Saginaw and that disappointment. And we had a real good week of practice, and they were ready to go uh, for that game the other night. And we had a really we talked about it in the office actually before and after the game. We'd actually had a really good pep rally uh, prior to the game, and so we were the kids were excited. They were still riding high from that, and so it was a good energy.
Coach, let's talk about Boswell was down big early. What do you think went wrong in the first half that allowed Haltom to jump out to a three-score lead?
Well, when you run an offense like that, uh, it's very important that you play assignment football on defense and that you fit the right gap. And then that when you are in a position to make tackles, that you make tackles. Um, and we had some trouble doing that on key plays. We were making them work for yardage. We were keeping them in third down or second long and making it difficult on them. And they would just pop a pop a big one. Uh, and they had a 80-yard run for the first touchdown. They kicked a field goal, then they had an 80-yard run for a touchdown. It was 10-0. We came back and put a good little drive together and made it 10-7. And then another big play and it's 17-7, and uh, it was 17-7 at half, and we come back out in the second half, and it looked like a carbon copy of the punt versus Saginaw from Saturday morning, and we gave them a short field, and they scored pretty quick, and it's 24-7, and our offense has been moving the ball. We've just got to finish, and so it was 24-7. There was about 6 minutes left, 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and we gave ourselves no margin of error, and the offense answered the bell, and we went and scored touchdowns on three drives there to close out the game, and it was just the kids never blinked when we got down 24-7. No one panicked. Everyone just kept saying, "Hey, let's go get a touchdown. Let's go get this one." And the defense on the other side kept saying, "Okay, no more. Like we're not gonna give them any more." And they didn't. The defense played outstanding, keeping them, from being able to take these monumental, 10-minute drives where they just eat up clock. The defense did a great job of forcing them off the field. I think the defense kept them. They were 3 of 12 or 3 of 13 on third down and 0 for on fourth down. They did not convert a fourth down, and so that great job by Coach Davis and the defensive staff of getting the kids prepared, and then great job by the kids, obviously, of going out and executing in those high pressure situations.
Coach, let's talk about Jace Richardson had an incredible performance, over 200 yards rushing. What stood out to you about his running style and his impact on the game?
Obviously, that he went and got tough yards. I think he had 33 carries for over 230 yards, and the it wasn't like he was going for 20 yards a pop. It was tough yardage between the tackles. That's the way we run the ball. And then he just kept his feet moving, like on the touchdown versus Saginaw the week before. First contacts made with him at the 4 yard line, but he kept his feet moving and pushed the pile into the end zone. And so that's one of the key things about Jason. His running style is like he's gonna hit going downhill, and then he's a big, strong kid. He's not. People look at him and he's not very tall, but he is a very, very strong kid. One of our strongest, you know, pound for pound, and he's hard to bring down, and he's hard to get a good shot on, and so it really carried us and picked us up, especially in the second half, because I think he got stronger as the game went on, and there in the fourth quarter, he was a huge part of what we were doing in the fourth quarter, and you know, creating opportunities for like Juju on the game-winning touchdown. Everybody went with Jace, and then it left one guy out there, and Liam Strouch was the wide receiver to that side of the field. He did a great job of sealing the edge and blocking that guy and giving Juju the sideline to be able to go score that what ended up being the winning touchdown.
Yeah, let's talk about Juju for a minute. Clutch doesn't even begin to describe his game winning touchdown, of course. What did that moment feel like from the sidelines? And of course, the fans in the stands just went berserk.
Yes, sir. It was a great feeling, we had a minute 58 left in the game, and that was coming right after the 2-minute timeout, which is new this year to high school football. The 2-minute timeout, we're all figuring out how to deal with that. And so there's a minute 50 something left on the clock, and now our defense has to hold the line because it's it's 28-24. A field goal does them no good, so we know that they're going to go for it on every fourth down. We know that they're going to try to put the ball in the end zone, and defense rose to the occasion.
Was there a turning point or a specific drive where you felt that the momentum started to shift in Boswell's favor?
Uh, when we were down 24-14, and they went for it on fourth down in our end of the field, close to the scoreboard, and they threw the quick little out pass, and John Morales came up and made a great play to slow that guy down until the cavalry arrived, and we stopped him short on fourth down. And I thought, man, we've given ourselves a shot. Now we've just got to go do. We're gonna have we go down here and score, and it's gonna be a one-score game either way because we're down 10, and so if we can get a field goal, great. It'll be a 7-point game. If we can get a touchdown, that much better. And so I thought, when we stopped him there on fourth down, even though we had a long lot of field between us and the end zone, uh, I think that was a turning point, and it gave our guys confidence that this is still a ball game.
Coach, coming back from a three-score deficit's not an easy task on any level, probably more difficult at a high school level. What does this comeback tell us about the mental toughness and the maturity of this year's team?
Oh, absolutely. It tells us that we're a team that is gonna fight till the very end. We're gonna do uh, the things that we work on. We're gonna do the things that we're coached to do. We're not gonna start grasping at straws and just like, hey, we've never run this play, so but it's a good play, so let's talk about it on the sideline and do it without practicing. None of that happened. Uh, Coach Freeman did a great job of sticking to his game plan. We were down by 3 scores, and we had thought all week, we're going to need to run the ball better than we have the first 2 weeks. And so, Jace and Anthony Hummer were a huge part of that plan going in, and we knew we were going to run the quarterback a little bit more. Uh, and so it was just sticking to your belief system and not panicking, and I think that's what the guys showed.
It's no secret that the last 13 games have been a little difficult.
Yep.
We saw some heartbreakers. If I remember right, 4, maybe 5 heartbreakers last year where the Pioneers had a lead and the opponent was able to come back and actually score and win the game. And so this is kind of a contrast game for the Boswell Pioneers. Do you think this game was a defining moment for the season, a kind of a grow up game, so to speak?
That's exactly what I told the kids after the game, and I told them on Saturday morning when we met. I said we grew up last night. We learned a lot, and so I would say absolutely that um, they've been bought in, but the young guys, the guys that this was their third varsity game, I think it showed them that uh, the stuff that we do, the stuff that we work on works. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to, you look for ways to get better, absolutely. But, uh, when you encounter some adversity, you stay true to your principles, which, we're a spread offense. We're not gonna go to the triple option. We're not gonna go, we'll
The
find
Wayne T.
we'll find ways within what we do. Like we may call more run plays than pass plays, or whatever the case is. But like you don't abandon what you do. I'm not going to go in there on Saturday morning and be like, okay, Coach Davis, we need to go to a 4-3 now, or we need to go to 4-2-5, or we need to go to the 3-3 stack, or whatever it is. Like you don't you don't you don't do that, unless it's just absolutely required by injury or something where we just don't have the personnel anymore because of injury to do that. Then, but just because you, like I said, encounter a little bit of adversity, you stay true to your principles and you stay the course.
We talked a little bit, and we may be kind of beating the dead horse on this question, but the defense did give up a couple of long touchdowns. They made some key stops down the stretch. What's your assessment of the defense performance overall from where they were 2 weeks ago?
Oh, I think the defense has been leading us up to this point. Uh, you know, you look at the Braswell game, the Saginaw game, and uh, the Haltom game. They've faced three really different offenses. Braswell was spread and tried to run the ball a lot. Saginaw was spread and threw the ball a lot, threw a lot of screens, a lot of quick screens, a lot of things over the middle. And then, Haltom is the slot T and or wing T and whatever you want to call it. And it's the defense has had to adjust to, a team's going to run it, team's going to really throw it, team's going to really run it, and kind of go back and forth to these extremes. But uh, they have through 3 weeks. I'm very, very pleased with where the defense is.
How do you think that the defense can build off of this game, especially when it comes to limiting the big plays and future matchups?
Well, like if you eliminate those big plays, our defense is not giving up a ton of points. You know, uh, but you can't take away those big plays. Like from the past, you work to try to eliminate them in the future. But and so it's not that our guys are physically incapable of making those plays. We go in Saturday and we show them like, hey, if you had done this, you make that tackle, or if we had done this, we stop them here, and uh, then it's a 28-7 game or 28-10 game instead of a 28-24 game.
What adjustments did your coaching staff make at halftime to kind of help spark that comeback?
Just identifying what we needed to be better at and what we regularly do. You know, I think uh, a coach said one time that your halftime adjustments are you go back to your bread and butter. You don't, like I said earlier, you don't go out in there and be like, okay, we're going to do this brand new play that nobody's worked on. You go back in, you're like, okay, what do we have and what do we do really, really well? And you go back to that stuff. And so you're like, if defense, it's like we run these series of blitzes really, really well. That's what we're going to go with in the second half. Or we're going to stick to these coverages. We're going to stick to these defensive front calls. Offensively, the same thing. Like when we go in and talk as an offense, it's you know they're taking away this. We can get them with counter. We can get them with power. We can get them with zone, or we can hit them with this pass route. And so it's you go back to what you really, really execute well. And I think obviously versus Haltom, coaches on both sides of the ball went back in and we decided what do we need to start or keep pounding away at that we do really, really well. And that showed uh, that paid dividends in the second half.
That was Jace Richardson, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, Coach, this is a kind of a fan question. In your opinion, was the game more about grit and heart, or was it the X's and O's that turned things around?
Oh, it's always about grit and heart. There's 10 different offenses that you could run. There's 10 different defenses that you could run. And there's coaches across the state and across the country that coach every single one of those really, really well, and they know the X's and O's. Uh, but you've got to get your team to a point, like you said, that they have some grit about them. They've got some toughness about them. They've got some discipline about them, and and not just some, a lot, and so the discipline, the grit, the desire, whatever you call it, uh, a lot of times that's the determining factor because you can have great, great X's and O's, and if the kids aren't bought in, if the kids are, not properly conditioned, not like they give up when you're down 24-7, or like they blink when you're down 24-7, whatever it is, uh, then X's and O's really don't make a difference at that point. And so I think it's always going to come down to you know grit, toughness, discipline, character, all that stuff that you try to instill in them because there's there's so many different ways to play football. There's so many different ways to coach this game, and so all of them, like Coach Ab used to say, all of them are right. Like all of them are right. And so uh, you do that, and you know, it's you just got to get the kids to a point where they will not accept anything less than their best.
So, we talked about Jace, we talked about Juju. We really didn't talk about anybody on defense. Zishang stands out, Featherston. Who are some of the under the radar players that stepped up and made a difference in this game that uh, might not be getting talked about enough?
On the defensive side, Edgar Trevino, he's a sophomore. Through 3 games, he's got nearly 20 tackles as a sophomore. He started every game. He's going to be a phenomenal football player when it's all said and done. His senior year, he's already there. Like, he's a phenomenal football player, and it'll be our job to get him even better than he is right now. He's playing phenomenally well. Nate Rosales is playing phenomenally well at linebacker, and Isaiah Nash at safety. He's kind of taking a leadership position in the back end there, and he's making a ton of tackles. And it's a new position to him. He didn't play there last year. He kicked and played outside linebacker, inside linebacker, I think. And uh, he's a real physical kid. And so we were like, man, we need him to do more than just kick. And so we tried him at safety, and he's still very much learning that position, but he's dove into it and he's doing awesome. Offensively, Peyton Rhodes, when we need a catch, that's our guy. Like we know he's gonna go fight for a ball. Porter Stevenson, he's kind of come out the last 2 games and made some big catches. Had him a touchdown versus Saginaw. Um, on the offensive line, Kyler Davis, our center, kind of runs the show on the O line and gets the calls made. And Braden Meeson, our other senior, uh, that plays uh, right there beside him. They do a great job. And then we've got kind of a rotation at the other 3 spots of you know we've got a sophomore Hudson Norwich that man he loves to play physical. He loves to play offensive line. He loves football. He'd play. We got him 6 snaps of defense the other night, and he loved it. He'd play the entire game, both sides if he could. And so we've got a lot of guys that love the game of football and love playing with their teammates.
What was your favorite moment of the game? Whether it was a play, sideline reaction, or something in the stands, what what was favorite for you?
I think there were two things that stand out. Uh, One was when the pass fell incomplete on 4th down right before we took the ball back and went victory, and just I kind of scanned our sideline and the field and just how the kids reacted to like accomplishing a goal and accomplishing a task. Like it was like just seeing them run and celebrate together and hug each other and like just be a team. And then very much along the same lines was when Juju was going down the sideline for his touchdown, and just I had a perfect view of it of the other 10 guys on offense were all running towards him with their hands in the air, same type deal, like, just celebrating team success. Like a lot of those guys, the only person maybe watching them on that play was their mom, but like every one of them scored when Juju scored.
Yeah, we thought it was pretty cool. That was one of the things I noticed as well was like I said earlier, not just the players. I mean, when you guys, you could feel it when you knew you guys were going to secure the win, and then just the stadium.
Yeah,
I mean, the fans had been, just kind of normal, but when you guys went up, that place exploded.
yeah,
I was gonna say, I was gonna say too. The when the fans exploded, I was sitting there thinking, man, I wish I was in that Weatherford, that press box for the visitors, because it shook and it was almost like you were waiting for the press box to start shaking. It was so
yeah.
there was so much there.
If you had a word to describe this, if you could describe this win in one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
Uh, Starting point.
Okay. Well,
This is
why?
well, like I think we continue to work, we continue to do. This is we're 2-1. It's not mission accomplished. It's the starting point.
Pretty awesome. Well, that is a look back at a very exciting win for the Boswell Pioneers against the Haltom Buffaloes. Of course, you see the schedule there. Got a big game this week against the Forney Jackrabbits, and this is a team that definitely, I mean, you kind of get a feel for where you're at when you play a team like Forney. And so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will look at that game here on Pioneer Sports Extra. Meet Kim Miller. She's a property management specialist. She can help take out the hassle of the rent raise. Let her show you how to become an owner and not just a landlord. Help with rent collection, maintenance, and inspections. That's All County Property Management.
When you make money, we make money. Low vacancy rates, full web access, low monthly fee, no hidden or extra cost. Connect with us from a wide range of devices, your smartphone, tablet, and computer. So before you rent your next property, call us. Check us out on Facebook, Boswellsports, Twitter, Instagram. So what are you waiting for? Contact us today. All County Property Management, 817-567-2500.
Welcome back to Pioneer Sports Extra. Again, we are at Red's Barbecue at 7335 Boat Club Road. Man, they got it all. They got hamburgers. They've got sliced. In fact, I think they saved me some this time.
Well, yeah.
They got sausage, chicken. Coach had a big plate whenever he came in. Good barbecue. Come visit Red's. Big supporters of the Boswell Pioneers. They're right here on Boat Club Road. You can't go wrong by visiting Red's Barbecue. Coach, we've got another big game. Forney comes to town. Thank goodness they come to town. About a 2-hour drive
Yeah.
east of here, a little northeast of here. And let's talk about that game. We build on this win against Haltom. How do you prepare for the Forney Jackrabbits?
Uh, they do a lot very, very well. They're very athletic. Um, we this will only be our second time ever playing them. So for old Boswell people that kind of want a comp of who in our past have we played. I think they're very much in the same cut from the same cloth of uh, the really good Wichita Falls Rider teams that we used to play. And so I think that uh, they're very, very disciplined. They've got a lot of good athletes. Quarterback has several scholarship offers. The running back, I think, is committed to Notre Dame. There's a lot of you know, there's a there's a lot of guys over there that play football and play very well, and they're coached very well by Coach Fleener. And so, you know, it was a tough game for us last year, and but this year's a new year, and we we've had two good days of practice. We're gonna finish up our prep work tomorrow and Thursday, and then we'll hit it on Friday, and you know they're they're very talented, and it's gonna be a good game. I feel like.
Last week in preparation after the Saginaw loss, you kind of went back to the basics. You had the kids out pushing the sled in the grass. Do you continue with that kind of philosophy, that kind of workout going into this week's game?
Oh yeah, we like I said, it's not mission accomplished. It's now we go to work. We know what the formula is for success for one week. Let's repeat that and add a little bit to it. And so it's something that we've got uh, the kids that can do it, and we've just got to put them in the right spots. We've got to get them in the right situations in the right spots to be able to execute at a high rate and a successful rate.
They come in with the same record as you guys. They've played Lake Highlands, A&M Consolidate, and Waxahachie. Let's talk about what you've seen on film in those three games against some really quality opponents.
Oh, absolutely. They've played three close games. They beat Lake Highlands 37-34. They beat A&M Consolidated 38-21, and they lost to Waxahachie 35 14. But it was 21 to 14 uh, late in the third, and then Waxahachie was able to score twice in the fourth to kind of pull away from them. And so, like you said, those are three quality programs: Waxahachie, A&M Consolidated, and Lake Highlands. And so, the things that we have to do is, go back to what we talked about earlier with the defense. We have to fit right in our gaps because they're gonna run a tight end, they're gonna run a wing back, they're gonna run a tight end in a slot, they're gonna run, so like there's gonna be gaps created by the way that they line up. We've got to line up correctly, and then uh, the you know we've got to come make tackles. Like we can't afford to miss tackles, and we work tackling every week. We work tackling today. We'll work tackling tomorrow. We'll work tackling on Thursday. But we got to go make plays and force them to keep snapping the ball. Um, you know, and then offensively, we've got to complete drives. Uh, we want to end every drive in a kick. Don't turn the ball over. And so, if we're punting or we're kicking, that means we scored. If we punt, that means they may have held us, but we're not giving them a short field. We're not giving them a gimme, situation. And so uh, that's what we've got to do this week.
Talk a little bit about they run the spread offense, is that right?
They run primarily they'll keep an attached tight end, and they'll keep like a slot or a wing. Sometimes they'll go three wide, but they'll it's a one back offense, and they go downhill.
What do they do really well?
Uh, they do a good job up front with their O line and D line, and the O line does a good job of opening up holes for that. He's a good running back, and they do a good job of giving him space and giving him gaps to run through. And then, defensively, they're very athletic. They fly around. They move really well, and they fly to the ball. They watching them on film, they've got, you know, 9, 10, 11 guys around the ball every single time the guys being tackled. So they play disciplined. They play smart football.
What's the What's the mood there at Pioneer Stadium right now
Oh,
with
it's
the kids in practice and
very
getting
positive,
prepared?
very positive. Like winning cures a lot of ills, and so like our guys are just they're going. It's a very businesslike approach. Like this is who we're playing this week. What we did last week versus Haltom, doesn't carry over. Just like we told them the week before that nothing that we didn't do versus Saginaw carries over. We just got to fix it and go. And so we got to go take care of what we can take care of, and what can we take care of? What is within our control? Attitude, effort, and then just your job. Know what your job is on any given play. Know what you're supposed to do, and then execute it to the highest level that you possibly can for 80 plays, 75 plays, 60 plays, whatever it is, whatever it's called for, every single time you have to do your job. And you may be dinged up, you may be hurt, but you got to line up and do it again.
I have to ask this question. It's one of those stupid questions that I've asked for 20 years, and I don't see any reason to stop now. It's homecoming week there at Boswell, and talk about does that have any effect on the team? Does it hurt in any way? What? How does uh,
It's
homecoming? How does that affect anything?
I think it's great. You try to keep them focused on what the reason for homecoming is, which is the football game. That's the marquee event. And so there's lots of stuff going on. We've got the homecoming carnival tomorrow night in the parking lot. We've got JV and freshmen going to Forney on Thursday night to go play their game, and then we've got the game Friday night. We've got the dance Saturday, and so there's a lot pulling you in a lot of different directions if you allow it. And so we just talked to our guys about going back to what I just said. Focus on your job, execute your job, do the best that you absolutely can do every play. And so if you're doing that, if you're doing your best, then that means you're focused on the game. You're not focused on what's going on after the game. You're not focused on the dance. You're not focused on XYZ. You're focused on taking care of business in your sphere of influence, which is your job.
So, what are Coach Wes Weaver's keys to victory against the Yellow Jackets or
Yeah,
Jackrabbits? Sorry.
Jackrabbits. Well, we have to, like I said, we have to finish drives, and we have to continue to get them off the field on third down. If uh, that was something that in the three films we watched, especially versus Lake Highlands and A&M Consolidated, is they were executing third downs a lot. They were getting a lot of yards on first and second down, so third down was not, it was rarely third and long. And so we've got to put them in third and long on defense and get off the field. And then offensively, we have got to finish drives. We've got to, from the moment we step on the field and start going in the first quarter until it's all zeros in the fourth quarter, uh, we've got to finish drives. And so uh, those would be my keys to victory. And then, um, if we're doing those things, then that means we're not turning the ball over, we're controlling the clock, we're doing all these things that you got to do to win games.
Who do we need to watch defensively for Forney?
I would watch their linebackers. All four of their linebackers are high quality. They fly around. They're physical. Uh, they do a really, really good job.
And Coach, this is the last non-district game of the season. What do you hope to accomplish here as we prepare to head into district play next week?
Oh, well, I want to go in with as a coach, I want to go in with a really, really good feel of, okay, what did we accomplish in non-district, and how do we use that to help us through the next 6 weeks of district play? And so going into district, you want to be healthy, obviously, and I think we're getting healthy. Uh, you want to be operating at a high level. I think we're working towards that after last week, and then you know, kind of have established your identity on offense and defense, and I think we're well on our way to that.
So where are we right now? Obviously you've got a plan going into the season. Where do you feel like this team is at right now? You feel like you guys are on pace? Where do you feel like you're at?
Well, I think we're definitely on pace. I'd say we're right where I was hoping to be as far as attitude goes, and obviously, you want to be there, and excuse me, didn't mean to cough into the mic. Uh, you want to be uh 3-0. We had a chance to be 3-0, but we're not. So we can't let that affect us.
Okay. Well, that is a look at this week's game against the Forney Jackrabbits. In my head, they've been Yellow Jackets the whole time. And so I was like, I hope that didn't trip me up. Well, it did. But hopefully it won't trip up the Pioneers this Friday night at Pioneer Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. If you can't make it to Pioneer Stadium, two ways you can view the game. Outside of that is you can tune in to our YouTube channel at YouTube at Boswellsports, and our kickoff or our pregame show starts at 6:30. We will have the great Peyton Peterson will be back in the booth, and
Daddy Peterson.
Daddy Peterson, yep, just had a brand new baby boy. They named him Maverick
Von
Peterson. So his initials are MVP, which I think is awesome because Peyton is certainly an MVP, and we'll be glad to have him back. And then the other way that you can watch is the Eagles Nest right here on Boat Club Road, just a little bit. I think it's that direction. Um, they have it on their big TVs, so that'll be pretty cool. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got Jace Richardson in the house, and we're going to talk to him, see how he's doing, get his thoughts on that big win against Haltom.
If you're a fan of classic rock and tired of hearing the same old songs over and over, you need to tune in to the zoo.net. Thousands of songs in the library. Radio like it used to be. Radio as it should be. It's on the internet 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and it's free. The best classic rock of all time. It's the zoo.net.
The internet's best classic rock. The Zoo.
Okay, welcome back to Pioneer Sports Extra, the home of the Boswell Pioneers, Saginaw's #1 coaches show. And joining us now is number 24, Jace Richardson. And Jace is, it says 5'5", 140. Jace, is that right?
5'6".
5'6", okay.
There's no way he's
And
140.
and I think you're probably a little bit
I'm 150.
There you go. I was gonna say.
150. He is a junior running back. Coach Wes Weaver did a great job of hiding this weapon for the Boswell Pioneers. and you had a breakout game against Haltom this last Friday night, 235 yards rushing, had a touchdown. Jace, talk about that game. What did it mean to you personally?
It means everything. Coming from, I was third string originally. Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, I was third
This
string
season?
this season. So
Wow.
I had to like, prove myself, kind of, go all out this game.
So how did that come about?
When Chance got hurt, I had to step up. So,
So who was in front of you?
Hummer.
Hummer was in front of you.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So tell us what you did to kind of showcase your talent to become the starting running back.
Prove myself every day at practice. Going hard, finishing every drill. Every drill. Full effort. You know,
Talk about your running style. What would you say is your running style?
it's more like like I try to be patient behind the line, and then as soon as that hole opens up, I just full speed through it. I don't care who's in front of me. I'll try to spin move. Cut. That's pretty much it. Just speed.
Looking out of that helmet, describe to me what you see. Do you see the whole field? Is it tunnel?
I look,
What do you see?
I look everywhere. My first touchdown, I was over here, but I went on the other side of the line where the play wasn't supposed to, open up at. So, I scan the field to see where the linebackers are lined up, what's going on.
Do you kind of see things before the snap of the football?
Yes, sir. I watched film on them before we started playing, in the classroom. I went to huddle, just taking notes, film, what they like to do. You know.
That's cool. Walk us through your touchdown.
Oh, the first one?
Hmm.
Yeah, my shoe fell off during that
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yeah. So now, thankfully, you didn't pick it up, put it to your ear, but
I just thought about crossing that line. I didn't care how I was gonna get there. You know,
Do you think about kicking that other shoe off and just running barefoot?
they had to tape my shoe to my leg.
Oh,
It kept
wow.
falling off.
as the game progressed, you got some good runs, some nice runs early on. Uh, did that build your confidence? Did you feel more confident there in the third quarter?
Yes, sir. I feel more confident because everyone was saying like, we need another touchdown. We need you, Jace. I just felt like it was all up to me at that point.
Now, have you always played the running back position?
Yes, sir. I was corner once in middle school.
Which do you like better?
Running back for sure.
And why is that?
Scoring touchdowns, touching the ball, getting in there.
And talk about your O line.
Oh, I love the O line. Without them, I wouldn't have scored. I gave my, thanks and praise to them after the game. Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you play any other sports outside of football?
Uh, I do track, powerlifting. I might do soccer this year too.
That's it. Powerlifting.
I was fixing
That's
to say
it.
the one thing that they can't get a good picture of are his guns. I mean, you might need to raise those arms up because how much? I was gonna ask, how much can you bench?
Right now, 290.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when Jace came through the door, I kind of thought it might be him, but I wanted to check a birth certificate
Yes.
because Jace is he's solid.
There's 2% fat maybe. I don't know.
So of those other sports, talk about those and what you do in those.
Uh, Track. I run short distance, 100 meters. I didn't run it last year, but I always ran track. I Yeah, short distance, and then powerlifting. Just the original deadlift, bench, squat.
What's your 40 time?
40. Uh, 447. I think I ran at the camps I was
Nice.
going to.
So I got a question because we were talking about this with your breakout game. One of the things you mentioned you had to step up because Christian's got hurt, right?
Sorry.
So what do you see as the running back core, the running back situation? How do you convince Coach Weaver to maybe do a two-back set or something like that to where because what we were talking about after the game is, man, when Christian gets back with what you've done and what he's done, That's a very scary backfield.
Yes, sir.
So talk about that.
You know, block better, and just run harder, show them that, we can both be back there and it'll trick defenses up definitely, you know.
Coach Weaver, I have to chastise you because while you took the short break, we learned that Jace was the third string running back.
There's not really first string, second string, third string with us. Like we've tried to explain to kids, like, and y'all have seen, like, we'll run two guys on and three guys off, or two guys on, two guys off, and we do personnel groupings. And so, like, we have, we call colors, and that lets us know, do we want one back, two back? Do we want one back with this kid, or do we want one back with this other guy, or do we want three receivers with these two running backs, or do we want, Tyler in the game instead of Juju? And so I would say that, we're not really a first string, second string, third string guy.
Well, I'll tell you what,
But whatever motivates them.
you found something special with Jace for sure. Jace, talk about school a little bit. What's your favorite subject?
Favorite subject, does football count?
Football's a good one. Football's a good one.
Lunch,
Lunch is another one of my favorites.
and then history.
History. Okay. What do you like about history?
Learning about like the past, and what happened before me.
And if you had do you have a favorite teacher there at Boswell?
Coach Emerson,
Okay.
also the wide receivers coach, I think.
Coach McNeil.
Coach McNeil.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's homecoming week. What's that like for you as a player?
this game I want to perform a lot, a lot better because a lot of people are gonna be there. Just going off this game. I'm not going to the homecoming dance or anything. So
How do you keep that from becoming a distraction?
uh, it's not really a distraction. I think it motivates me more to perform.
Okay. So you said you're not going to the dance. No, no, you're a free agent right now, right?
Um,
Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Talk about some of your hobbies. What do you do when you're not playing football?
going to the field, catching the ball, throwing the ball with the boys,
Oh, nice.
the gym.
Who normally goes with you?
My friend Mason, and I go with like multiple people. Like like one day I'll go with him, one day I'll go with him.
Juju ever go with you?
No sir.
No.
So,
Uh, so what are your thoughts on this coming game against Forney? How do you see that game?
uh, I see it being a hard game because they have some big guys, and a lot of talent over there. So I'm gonna have to really, you know, feel it out.
What would you say is your best ability as a running back?
I think it would be my explosiveness and acceleration, shooting through those gaps and holes, and vision too, you know. Guy goes this way, how am I gonna, guy goes this way, I get behind him, the down block, guy coming this way, how am I gonna, break that dude?
So it sounds like he's got a lot. I mean, it's almost like he's
Like overthinking in a
well,
way.
not overthinking, but a lot of times, like when I play baseball, it's always like, what can happen this next play, and so
Yeah.
how do I react when that happens? That sounds like a lot of what you do is that you try to look into the future when you're sitting there ready, waiting for the snap.
Yes, sir.
So I know that Coach Weaver doesn't allow touchdown celebrations, but if you had a touchdown celebration, what would it be?
It'll be a lot of things. Like I have to stand up and do it. Like I like playing out a dance, but
Uh,
like an actual like dance move. But I was scared of getting flagged, so I didn't do it.
Good, good.
What has been your favorite moment so far this season?
Last game for sure. I did a lot of great things last week. hmm
Did you feel the crowd?
I felt the crowd.
Did you?
It was a crazy experience
Did that energize you and your teammates?
for sure. For sure. I think it inspired us actually.
Awesome. So you hear that, You hear that, folks out there in Pioneer Nation? These guys are inspired when you come to the stadium and you get loud and proud. So we need to do that this Friday night.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So Jace, I know you're just a junior, but do you have any plans for after you graduate?
I want to go to college for sure and play ball.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any particular subject that you're interested in college, or what would you
Uh,
like to be?
I don't really know. I haven't really thought that far about it.
You just want to play ball.
Want to play ball for sure.
Nice. Well, I tell you what, you've certainly caught our eye, and hopefully you'll catch the scouts' eyes,
Yes, sir.
and that'll become a dream come true for you. At this point in the show, we always give our guest a chance to give a shout out. So, anybody out there that might be watching tonight that you'd like to give a shout out to?
My dad, you know, always take me to paying for these camps and stuff like that. You know, the gym, and always being there for me. You know, and my mom too. You know, a lot of gas money spent on me going to these gyms, and yeah,
Well, I tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on with us, and
thank you.
we've been really impressed watching you from 3 miles high up in the press box. And wish you good luck this Friday night against Forney.
Sir, thank you for having me here.
You bet. Well, Coach, it is another big week. We hope you guys get the win. And like I say, if you can't make it to the game, we will have the broadcast here on our YouTube channel. That's YouTube at the @ Boswell Sports. This is a pre-recorded show tonight. We kind of have a little difficulty here with the highlights and stuff doing a live stream, but if you would give us some comments below and support these guys, and the thumbs up, the likes, whatever you do out there in the internet world. And we would invite everybody to come out Friday night, homecoming at Pioneer Stadium. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock, and pregame show for us is at 6:30. And if you want to go watch the game, and you can watch it, they might have it here at Reds for a little bit. I know they'll have it down the road there at Eagles Nest. They'd love to see you there. And so that'll do it for tonight's show for Coach Wes Weaver and Keith Diamond, and of course Jace Richardson. This is Jim Howard saying good night from Red's Barbecue, and as always, go Boz.
Go Boz.
Pioneer Sports, extra tales of great Boswell's, never rock and roll.